Those who forsake the law praise the wicked. Those who uphold the law resist them. Welcome to the Voice of Resistance. Here's your host, Randall Terry.
If you missed the debate between Hillary and Bernie last night, we're going to play a few clips for you, some of the more entertaining lowlights. It was the toughest that Bernie Sanders has been on Hillary yet, and it's reflected in the amount of news coverage that it's getting. Interestingly, it was if my memory is correct, it was the highest viewership for a Democrat debate thus far. They had between 8 and 9 million people tuning in, and partly that's because it's the first time that it's been in prime time on a weeknight and it's not against an NFL playoff or something very significant on another network. Interestingly, CNN on its station had a little bit over 4 million viewers. Fox, which had a speech from Trump and then Kasich and then Cruz, Fox had just under 4 million viewers. Those numbers are astronomical. And when you consider the fact that someone tuning into CNN or tuning into Fox, that it was almost neck and neck, that's how much contempt a large number of the voters have for Hillary and for Bernie. But that notwithstanding, one of them is going to be the next Democrat nominee. I have to point something out ahead of time so that you catch it, and that is the head waggle from Hillary. It was like a teenage girl. You can pick it up in the middle of this. We're going to play a clip. And by the way, I want to thank the viewers on a quick rabbit trail. I want to thank the viewers who pointed out to me that the John Kasich episode we did a couple days ago, that it really helped them. And one of the viewers pointed out that I said that John Paul II wrote Humanae Vitae, which I know is not true. I was doing it on the fly. John Paul II wrote Evangelium Vitae. Paul VI wrote Humanae Vitae. Humanae Vitae is primarily about birth control, and Evangelium Vitae is about abortion, about child killing. All right, back to the blood fest at hand. We are going to play you a little clip showing well, just look for the head waggle. Just look for the Hillary head waggle.
If we can raise it to 15 in New York or Los Angeles or Seattle, let's do it.
If you're both screaming at each other, the viewers won't be able to hear either of you.
Okay. Does Secretary Clinton have the experience and the intelligence to be a president? Of course she does. But I do question her judgment.
President Obama trusted my judgment enough to ask me to be Secretary of State.
Do you regret your advocacy for the crime bill?
My husband has apologized. He was the president who actually signed it. Senator Sanders voted for it.
Secretary Clinton called them out. Oh, my goodness. They must have been really crushed by this.
The question was about the transcripts of the speeches to Goldman Sachs. Why not release them?
When everybody does it, okay, I will do it.
Secretary Clinton, you just heard her. Everybody else does it, she'll do it. We will release our taxes. Jane does our taxes. We've been a little bit busy lately. You'll excuse us.
Well, you know, there are a lot of copy
Senator, when are you going to
release?
Unfortunately, I remain one of the poorer members of the United States Senate, and that's what that will show.
You know, if Senator Sanders doesn't agree with how you are approaching something, then you are a member of the establishment.
Interesting comment, but you didn't answer the question.
I did. If that's
no,
the
you
way
didn't.
Yes, I did.
I think we're going to win this nomination, to tell you the truth.
I love being in Brooklyn. This is great.
One of the reasons that this debate was so entertaining, and you heard a little bit of it, was that it was in New York. And New York people, Brooklyn people, they are a very different batch than people in the Midwest. The supporters of Hillary were raucous and loud, objecting to Bernie Sanders. The supporters of Bernie Sanders were even more ruckus and more loud and more contemptuous and more disrespectful of Hillary than any crowd I've ever seen. At least in this election cycle. It was flat out contempt. And it made me think, oh, Hillary, you ain't seen nothing yet. if Donald Trump gets the nomination. I'll be right back. I am going to be 57 years old. April 25th, 1959, the doctor came out and told my dad, it's a boy. And I would like to ask you, if you are enjoying this program, to help us with a $57 gift. Yes, I am stooping that low, where I am actually using my birthday as a fundraising tool. Now, by the way, I'm not going to take the $57. You go to that website that you see there and look for the button on the page that says birthday, okay? And if you want to get one of our books, I'll autograph a book, I'll send it to you, I'd be happy to do it. But this is to basically pay for the show. We do not make money off of this. This is a labor of love to get this word out on over 130 stations around the country, but it takes money. The equipment takes money, paying Bobby Sue and Billy Bob, it takes money. So if you're blessed by this program, I ask you in honor of my birthday to give a $57 contribution to the Voice of Resistance. Welcome back to the program, friend. I want you to imagine that some of the same items that you're about to see are being discussed not with Hillary and Bernie, but with Hillary and the Donald, or Hillary and Ted Cruz. Because Bernie Sanders, even though this clip I'm about to show, you can see that it was pretty testy, Bernie Sanders knows that if he does not beat Hillary, which is unlikely, he knows that if he doesn't defeat her, that he does want her to be the next president. And he wants her to defeat Trump or Cruz, whoever gets the nomination. And he knows that he's probably going to help her try and win the White House. So he pulls a lot of his punches. But I want you to just imagine this debate going on and these issues being debated, not by Bernie, who's pulling his punches, but by one of the two Republican frontrunners who pummel her and seek to draw political blood. But oh wait, I think that Bernie drew some blood and showed us where the weak spots are. See for yourself.
Secretary Clinton, how long? 25 years. We worked together in the Senate, and I said that in response to the kind of attacks we were getting from the Clinton campaign. Washington Post headline says, Clinton campaign says Sanders is unqualified, and that's what the surrogates were saying. Does Secretary Clinton have the experience and the intelligence to be a president? Of course she does. But I do question her judgment. I question a judgment which voted for the war in Iraq, the worst foreign policy blunder in the history of this country, voted for virtually every disastrous trade agreement, which cost us millions of decent-paying jobs, and I question her judgment about running super PACs, which are collecting tens of millions of dollars from special interests, including $15 million from Wall Street. I don't believe that that is the kind of judgment we need to be the kind of president. Secretary Clinton called them out. Oh my goodness. They must have been really crushed by this. And was that before or after you received huge sums of money by giving speaking engagements behind them? So they must have been very, very upset by what you did. Look, here is the difference. And here is the clear difference. These banks, in my view, have too much power. They have shown themselves to be fraudulent organizations endangering the well-being of our economy. If elected president, I will break them up. We've got legislation to do that. End of discussion. Very surprised to learn that you supported raising the minimum wage to $15 an hour.
You know, wait a minute.
That's just not
come
accurate.
on. I have stood on the debate stage with Senator Sanders 8 prior times.
Excuse me.
I have said the
Secretary,
exact same
Senator,
thing.
please.
If we can raise it to
Secretary,
15 in New York or Los Angeles
Secretary,
or
the
Seattle,
viewers,
let's do it.
If you're both screaming at each other, the viewers won't be able to hear either of you.
Okay.
So please don't talk over each other. Go ahead.
You know, there is no doubt that the only people that I would ever appoint to the Supreme Court are people who believe that Roe v. Wade is settled law and Citizens United needs to be overturned. And I want to say something about this since we're talking about the Supreme Court and what's at stake. We've had 8 debates before. This is our 9th. We've not had one question about a woman's right to make her own decisions about reproductive health care. Not one question. And in the meantime, we have states, governors, doing everything they can to restrict women's rights. We have a presidential candidate by the name of Donald Trump saying that women should be punished, and we are never asked about this. And to be complete in my concern, Senator Sanders said, with respect to Trump, it was a distraction. I don't think it's a distraction. It goes to the heart of who we are as women, our rights, our autonomy, our ability to make our own decisions. And we need to be talking about that and defending Planned Parenthood from these outrageous took on the challenges of 9/11 together. We got the money to rebuild New York. We came to the aid of our brave first responders, construction workers, and others who endangered their own health by helping to save lives and search for survivors. We worked to create jobs despite the disastrous policies of George W. Bush across New York. And we stood up time and time again against all kinds of vested, powerful interests.
I grew up in Brooklyn, New York, the son of an immigrant who came to this country from Poland at the age of 17 without a nickel in his pocket, never made a whole lot of money, but was a very proud American because this country gave him and my mom the opportunity to send their kids to college.
You see what I'm talking about? Can you imagine if it was Trump going after Hillary on some of these issues or Ted Cruz going after her? And I know that most of my viewers, demographically, most of my viewers are not going to take the time to watch Hillary or Bernie because they just hold them in such contempt. As they should. You should hold Hillary and Bernie in contempt. It's a holy and righteous thing to do. But I've got to take a break, but I just want you to think through with me the email scandal. The criminal acts of this former Secretary of State have not been touched on. And her lack of judgment with Benghazi, not touched on by Bernie Sanders. When Donald Trump or Ted Cruz, especially Trump, because he's way more vicious, but when one of those two men is on a stage with her or traveling around the country giving sound bites, Hillary's day in the sun is over. And then her day in the furnace of conflict begins. And she won't survive it, friend. I don't believe she can be our next president. Friend, this program is supported by friends like you who believe in what we are doing. We run a very tight ship. Thankfully, we are on over 130 stations across the country, having tremendous impact. We get emails every day. We get letters in the mail, not every day, but almost every day. We hear from people who love what we're doing. What people don't understand is that it's sort of expensive to produce a television show like this. It doesn't require earth-shattering funds, but it does require financial help. So I am asking you, if you enjoy this program, throw us a $10 or a $20 bill every once in a while. or even a $50 or a $100 check. You see the address there on the screen. Your gifts are not tax deductible, by the way, because we want to be able to say what we want to say regarding politics without the IRS telling us no. So if you like the program, I ask for your support. Welcome back, friend. If you did not see the Donald Trump speech, followed by the John Kasich speech, followed by the Ted Cruz speech last night when the debate was happening between Hillary and Bernie, I want to give you an overview because now this is going to be a somewhat emotive overview and commentary insight, if you will, because I was shocked. All right, let me just say this. Anyone who's been watching the Republican debate, like I have, and hopefully you have, we've been startled at different points along the way. We have been shocked, mostly by Donald Trump. Well, last night, he shocked me, and I was almost spellbound. It was genius. It was genius. Let me tell you what happened, in case you missed it. All three of the candidates were speaking in New York City, one at a time, taking turns. Trump, then Kasich, then Cruz. And they were at a New York gala affair, they called it. It was a high-dollar Republican event, black tie event. People wearing bow ties. Trump spoke first. And what startled me, and I almost didn't watch it. I almost didn't watch it because I thought, all right, this is going to be their normal speech. Trump is up by 40 points in New York State. And I thought, well, I should watch, I do television for a living, and this is part of my call, my duty, my burden to watch these things. And I was startled, and then it moved to a little bit shocked, and truly, and I'm being honest because I've got nothing to lose. I was almost spellbound. And the reason might be a little bit different than the average person. Some people might have been watching it and turned away. Let me tell you what he did. He said, I was so happy when I heard that we were going to have this event in this hotel. I can't even remember the name of the hotel right now. He said, because I built this hotel. And he went on for the next 30, 40 minutes, however long it was he spoke, to talk about building that hotel and how bad the neighborhood was when he decided to go there. How his dad, who was still alive, was opposed to him building in Manhattan, in that neighborhood. He said, Pop, I've got to go. I want to be there. And it appeared that there was a house of ill repute that was going on in the building. And he had to figure out a way to get all these tenants out so he could strip the old building down to its steel and leave a few of the architectural items of beauty, cover them up with plastic or canvas. But he's just telling the story. Then he told about an ice skating rink. I'm not sure if it was Rockefeller Center or not. I'm just not sure because I was flipping back and forth. And even after I tried to figure out which ice skating rink he was talking about in New York, it was never clear. But he talked about how, well, first of all, the building they were in, that once they were finished, the whole neighborhood turned around. And they came in ahead of time and under budget. And then he went on to tell the story about another building that he bought in a dilapidated area. And he fought with the federal government to allow him to change the address from Columbia or Columbus Square or Columbia Circle or something to I forget if it was Central Park Ave or something, but he said my value of the building went up 7 times just by changing the address. Talked about an ice skating rink that they were 8 or 9 years into and they couldn't get it right, and Mayor Koch was letting people just squander over $20 million, and they had no ice skating rink. And he said, let me do this. I can build this. And the New York Times and the New York Post did editorial saying, let Trump do it. And Trump came in, created a beautiful ice skating rink using rubber hoses instead of copper, came in under budget, came in ahead of time. And now I'm interested in building. So I was listening. He's literally telling construction stories. And then he brought it all the way around. And he said, if I'm president, I'll bring that same energy and know-how to the presidency. We'll come in ahead of time. We'll come in under budget. We'll help our military. We'll help our vets. We'll help the infrastructure. It was awesome. And then when John Kasich got up and Ted Cruz got up and gave their normal stump speeches, it was so flat. It was so not credible that I felt embarrassed for them. And then to make matters worse, something went wrong with Ted Cruz's microphone. So Fox is carrying this live, and Ted Cruz's microphone got quieter and quieter and quieter. And then they're trying to pick up his voice from the ambient noise in the room and hear people talking over him. And finally, they just cut it all together, and Sean Hannity came on and said, we've got audio problems. But when you think of the jobs that Donald Trump created in New York as a builder, and you think of the pressure that was on him as a businessman, spending his own money, coming in under budget, coming in ahead of time, and what that meant for all of these different projects. And then you're sitting there thinking, man, if he could bring that type of energy and expertise to the presidency, just on the economic side, on the budgetary side, can you imagine how different things would look? And then when you heard John Kasich and Ted Cruz in the wake of that, it was like two little boys. Now, only 4 million people watched it, so maybe it won't help Trump very much, but I thought it was genius on his part. And it would have a tremendous impact on anyone who was watching and thinking, oh my goodness, we've got a man here with real life experience. Real life experience combating bureaucrats, coming in under budget, coming in on time. And if he could win the presidency, oh, what a different American budget we would have. I'll be right back. I am going to be 57 years old on April 25th. And I am asking you to pray for me, pray for our TV show. And if you have been blessed by this program, I'm asking you to give, if you're able to, a $57 gift. Yes, I'm using my birthday as a shameless fundraising ploy. This program, the studio, the staff, all of the expenses that it takes to put up a good TV show, it costs money, and the money comes from viewers like you, from supporters. So, by the way, if you want to give $570, do it. Randall, what do you want for your birthday? There is a guitar that I would like, but I'm not going to do that. These gifts are not going to go for that. Can they email me? Can they email me and say, I want to buy a guitar for you? All right. Anyway, do $57 if you possibly can to help with this program. I thank you in advance, and I ask you for your prayers that we could keep doing a great show. Huh? Christians must be involved in government, period. If Christians weren't involved in government, we would not have a United States of America. And there have been brilliant Christian minds over the centuries, such as John Locke, who is called the philosopher of American liberty. He was quoted by Clarence Thomas in his recent dissent on the homosexual marriage decision. If we don't understand John Locke, we don't understand the founding of America. I want to send you this book and my book, The Sword, subtitled The Blessing of Righteous Government and The Overthrow of Tyrants. I want to send you these two books for a gift of whatever you can afford. Pay the $8 shipping and handling, which does not cover our costs, and then give a gift of whatever size you want, and we'll send you these books. If you cannot afford anything but the $8, can't even afford that, write us a note, and we'll send them to you for free. I want you to have these books so that you can be better equipped to fight in the political arena. Come on, order them today. Well, friend, I'm about out of time. I want to switch gears and ask you for your prayers and for your help financially, if humanly possible. We have been working for over a year now on What Would Muhammad Do? The Shadow of the Sword, a 9-part series. We shot five episodes and then decided we were going to scrap it and go with an Emmy Award-winning producer. So we've shot all 9 episodes. And now we're gathering the voice artist work and the artwork from literally from artists and actors around the world. This is going to be incredible. But we need to raise money to finish the project. If you can give $35, you will basically prepay for your own DVD series. But maybe you could give 100 or 200 or 500 or 1,000. We need people to dig deep so that we can show the truth about Islam and about the connection of Muhammad's life, his words and his deeds, the founder of Islam, with what Islamic terrorists are doing today, because they are trying to mimic the founder of Islam. Help us, please.